Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I wanted to show you how I got this really easy Valentine's Day look using a lot of glitter, a lot of pink tones. I tried attempting doing a little cut crease for you, ran into some complications, but you'll see it in the video. And this is what I got. So if you want to see how I got this look, please keep watching. So I've already moisturized and primed my skin. I used the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, and then going in with foundation, I'm going to mix these two from Wet n Wild. I'm mixing Golden Beige and Desert Beige. I'm just going to shake it up a little, and I'm just going to start adding a few dots. And I'm going to go and blend this all in with the new Morphe sponge. This is actually the first time I'm using this, so let's see how it goes. Oh, it seems to be working really nice. Okay, so now the foundation is blended really well. We're going to go in with our concealer. Now the concealer I'm using, I'm sorry, I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape. I did order a few concealers, so I'm waiting for those to arrive. So I'm just going to use what I have right now. So I'm in the shade Medium, and I'm just going to go and apply this where I want to highlight. Just going to go in and start blending out. I'm going to go in and I'm going to set my under eyes right away. I'm going to use my Studio Fix foundation powder, and I'm using NC25. So on this side, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that there are no creases, and then I'm going to flip it on the other side and I'm going to set it right away. So I'm going to use this side and see how it goes. I'm actually liking this sponge. And I'm not baking with this, I'm just locking in the concealer. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Make sure there's no creasing. I'm going in and just pushing into the product. Just a little bit. Just apply the formulas. Okay, so once that looks good, then I'll go in and set the rest of my face. And because I like full coverage, I'm going to go in very lightly with my MAC Studio Fix powders. And the shades I'm going to mix is going to be C5 and C6. And I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush. This is from Real Techniques. It's going to go in with both shades and just kind of push the product in. just want to make sure everything is blended out seamlessly. Next, we're going to go and lightly contour our face, and I'm going to be using the Shade and the Light palette from Kat Von D, and I'm going to be going in with these two shades. I'm going to start with this and then just carve out my cheekbones a little more with this color. And I'm going to use my Morphe M529. I was using this earlier, so that's why it's a little dirty. Take a little bit. And just lightly start chiseling. When contouring your cheeks, you want to start off and just deposit a little bit of product and then buff or push the product up, just feather it up so it blends nicely. You don't want two brown lines on your cheekbones. If you're gonna contour your forehead or bronze your forehead, make sure you're really working it into your hairline. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the darker shade. I'm only going to apply the smallest amount just on like this little corner. I like using more than one bronzer because it adds a little more dimension. Okay, so going in with underneath, I'm sorry, not underneath, my contour on my nose, I'm going to use my Hoola bronzer. I really do like this bronzer. I'm just going to use a little brush that comes with it. I'm just going to slightly contour my nose, nothing too crazy. Just going to cut the tip so my nose looks a little shorter. And then bring it down ever so slightly. And you can just go gently over here to give you an illusion of a little button nose. And I'm going to use the same shade and I'm going to go underneath my bottom lip. Okay, and then I'm going to take the same powder brush and I'm just going to gently blend that in. Okay. So going back to my Morphe sponge, I'm just gonna clean up the lines a little bit. Not using any additional product, but it cleans it up and makes it really sharp. If you don't want that look, then you can go and just blend everything out with your brush. I just didn't want it to look too sloppy, but I also don't like it looking too harsh, so I do both. Okay, now underneath my eyes, I'm not gonna really bake. I know I used the MAC Studio Fix powder, but I like going in with a yellow powder underneath. Sometimes I use the yellow in the Shade and Light palette, but I've really been liking my Nye Banana Powder. I actually just put it in a small container so it's easier for me to travel with. And I'm just going to go in the Morphe and just push it in a little bit. I don't really like baking anymore. I just like setting the product in with a damp beauty blender or beauty sponge and just keep pushing in the product until it dissolves. And I don't bring this powder all the way out. I just kind of keep it in the center. There's really not much left over here, but I'm just pushing in product. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do exactly with the eyes, but I am going to prep my eyes right now and I'm going to do my eyebrows. I'm going to do my eyebrows off camera and I will be back. So I went ahead and did my eyebrows off camera, and I used the Anastasia brow powder in Granite. And then I also went and prepped my eyes using my MAC Ling Glow paint pot. And I set that with some translucent powder. So now I'm gonna go in with some eyeshadow. I'm not 100% sure as to what I wanna do for a Valentine's Day look. So we're gonna start off with the Modern Renaissance palette. And I'm gonna start off by putting a little bit of Golden Ochre on my brow bone. I love this palette. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do, but I really do. Okay, and then going in with my Morphe M441. Oh, I'm sorry. To apply the Golden Ochre on my brow bone, I just used a flat no-name brush. I got this somewhere. I don't remember where, but it's just what I use for my brow bone. But going in with my Morphe M441, yes, I'm going to go and mix raw sienna and burnt orange together, and I'm going to apply it on my upper crease area. If you're worried about your eyeshadow getting messy, you can always lay down a little bit of translucent powder underneath your eye area to catch out any fallout. But I think I'm okay right now. So I'm just gonna make sure that that's blended in really nicely. I always like to bring my crease color closer to the inner portion of my eyelid. Well, of my eyes, sorry. And I always find that applying your crease color is a lot easier when you lift your head up, because you can see the shape of your eye socket. As you can see, I'm going pretty high up with this. And as I get to the brow bone area, or really close to that, I'm using the lightest amount of pressure. If you feel like you're losing some of your brow bone color, you can always go back in after. Just make sure everything is blended. Okay, so I like the way that looks right now. And I think what I'm gonna do is mix this color, I think it's called Rilger, and some, let me just start off with this color and bring this a little lower than where I placed the raw sienna and burnt orange. So I placed it up here. I'm gonna go a little lower. And I'm doing the same, tilting my head. can always start off with a little bit. You can always add more, but it's harder to remove. And I'm not bringing this all the way in. I'm actually stopping right over here. So I guess kind of like right there, halfway in the middle. And I think I'm going to go in with a little bit of red ochre and apply that right on top, but I'm using a very small amount. You know what? I think I know what I'll do. So I'm going to go in a little closer with the red ochre. Wait, is that right? Yeah, the red ochre. But I'm not putting a lot of pressure. So still distributing some color over there, but it's not as deep as it is over here. You want a really nice gradient. I'm putting more pressure on the outer corner. I think what we'll do is a simple cut crease. So this is still red ochre, and I'm just buffing it in gently. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. So remember, put the most pressure and product, which don't put a lot of pressure, this is still your eye area, on the outer corner, and when you feel like you've blended enough, then bring it in closer. Okay, so whatever's left on the brush, just kind of bring it up a little bit. Don't bring it all the way up top because you still want the raw sienna and the burnt orange to kind of peek through. You want a lot more dimension. I'm just gonna pull it out gently with the remaining product, so it's not a lot. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a clean brush, just something a little fluffy. I'm using the Luxie 660. It's a foundation brush, but I'm just using it just to make sure that there's no eyeshadow. If you feel like there's a little bit of eyeshadow, instantly get rid of that because you don't want the eyeshadow to sit on your skin. It'll be harder to come off. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back in with my concealer, and I'm just gonna take a little bit out and place on the back of my hand. Put a little bit more. And then I'm gonna go in with a very small flat brush, and I'm going to take the smallest amount of product. You don't want it to have a lot of product, you want it to actually be a little dry. If you have a drier concealer, then it'll probably work a lot easier. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start carving out my cut crease, and I'll show you a really easy way of doing it. You're going to start where your crease is. Put a little bit more product. You're going to sketch it out ever so slightly. And then you're going to open your eyes as much as you can. So whatever is on there, you want to make sure it transfers up, so if you're blinking, then the product won't get higher up, if that makes any sense. I'm probably not explaining it right, but hopefully you understand what I mean. I'm going to go in with a little bit more, I guess I do. And any concealer would be fine for this. So I'm just going to get really close to my mirror. Don't forget to tilt your head. And fill in. I'm sorry if I didn't explain it right. Okay, so I kind of messed up a little bit. Brought it up a little too high. But that's okay, we'll fix that. I'll go in with a pointing brush. I'm sorry, not a pointing brush. I'm gonna go back in with the blending brush and just kind of buff. Because I didn't put too much product, it's not a big deal. And it's fairly dry. So it's pretty easy for the most part to correct my mistake. Okay. Take two. Okay, so I did the other side off camera, and now I'm just going to go ahead and where I apply the concealer to prepare my cut crease, I'm just going to go in with my NC25 just to set it. You know what? I don't want that brush. I'm just going to go back in with the flat shader brush I was using for my brow bone. I'm just going to push in the product. Okay, so I'm just pushing in the powder. If you move too much, it'll start creasing. I think it's pretty good. I'm just going to go in gently and just blend a little bit, not disrupting what I just did, what I struggled to do. Okay, so I was debating on what color I wanted to do. I originally wanted to stick with using all shadows from one palette, but since I changed my mind last minute and wanted to do a cut crease, I decided I was gonna go in with my chocolate bar palette. This is the original one, and there is a really light pink right here, and it's a very pale, really nice color. I'm not really sure if you can see that. It looks white on camera, but it's a really nice pastel pink. I'm gonna pack that onto the cut crease area. And I'm just gonna use, let's use another flat brush. This is actually just a Sigma concealer brush. This is just what I have. You don't have to use this color. This is just what we're gonna try it out and see what happens. Okay, so I'm just gonna pat this on. I am liking the pastel. Just be a little careful. You're just filling in that cut crease area. I think I need a denser brush. This is just not cutting it. I have a lot of brushes with no names, so I apologize. Just use whatever you have. I'm just gonna use, this is another no name brush. See, I got this at the hair show a couple of years ago, and I'm pretty sure this is another concealer brush, but let's see how that goes. You know what, I wonder if I wet my brush, if it'll come on a little more intense. Let's try that. I'm gonna use my Badescu, the facial rose spray. I don't know where to spray this. Okay. Okay, it completely missed the brush. Okay. Actually, I do like the way that looks. Okay, so we're gonna use a shadow wet. In case you want to know, the color is called Strawberry Bonbon. So I'm not rubbing, I'm pretty much just pushing. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that on the other side. I'm gonna go back in with the Modern Renaissance and I'm gonna just define this area a little more. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of the Realgar and the red ochre. Just tap the excess off. Okay, and I'm just gonna work that starting in the corner. I'm being really careful to make sure I'm not ruining all the work that I did. I just wanted to define it a little more. Oh, and the brush that I'm using is a Sigma Blending E25 brush. Okay, so I think I like the way it's coming out. I haven't decided if I wanted to add a little glitter to this or if I wanted to, what else I wanted to do to this, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply my liner and I'll be right back and I guess we'll figure it out. So I went ahead and I applied my eyeliner on both eyes and I decided I was going to go in with a little bit of the red ochre and the Realgar again from the Modern Renaissance. Just going to add just a very small amount to the outer portion, just like right here. I'm just using the lightest pressure. By using the lightest pressure, it's actually going to blend in for you, so you don't really need to do too much. And I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add some glitter to this. So I'm going to go ahead and use Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liner, Glitter Liner in Grind. And when you're applying this liner, it's really important to keep your eyes down for the most part because you want to make sure that it's dried properly because you don't want this to transfer. So we're going to start off here and you're going to be really careful when you're getting to the eyeliner. You don't want to get this on there. So I'm going to be really close to the mirror. And it's a really nice pink iridescent glitter if you can see this. of course, the glitter and I'm stopping it where I added the Regal and the red ochre. Can you see that? Now that I have the glitter on my eyes, I'm going to go in with my Model Renaissance again, and we're going to start working on the lower lash line. I'm going to go and mix in Real Glitter and red ochre. I'm just going to use a very flat, just a flat brush. And I'm going to bring it really close to the lower lash line. I'm going to stop it right here, right there. So what I'm doing, I'm keeping it a little thicker on the outer corners and I'm bringing it in thinner inside. Once I've laid that down, I'm going to go in with a Morphe M506. I'm going to use a little bit of raw sienna and burnt orange, and I'm just going to blend that out. And I'm literally just blending it underneath. I'm not putting it directly on top of the first colors. I'm bringing it down so it just blends it out. Okay, and then I'm just going to go in and clean up with a clean fluffy brush, the one I used originally, to catch any fallout. I think I want it a little darker, so I may go in, I think I'm going to go in with Cypress Umber, which is this chocolatey brown. Do a very small amount, and I'm just going to keep this really close to the outer edge. And I'm connecting it with the eyeliner. And I'm slowly, just ever so slightly, just tapping it in, getting closer, just so it doesn't just stop completely. Do the same thing on this side. Connect it with the eyeliner. Dust off any excess because you don't want too much product. In case if you're wondering why I keep going in and out, I like to see everything close up and then from a distance, just to make sure everything looks good. I'm going to go in with a black liner because I want it to be a bit dramatic. Okay, I'm just going to go back in with the brush that I used to blend everything. For my waterline, I'm really picky with what eyeliner I use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Inglot gel liner number 77. I need another one. I actually just picked up the Morphe eyeliner, so I haven't tried that one out yet, and I'm not sure if it's a good liner to use for your waterline. So I'm just going to dip in my Smolder eye pencil, and I'm just going to dip that in. I'm just taking a little bit off the back of my hand. I'm going to run this in my waterline. This is the only gel liner I can put in my waterline. And you blink really hard and it tight lines for you. I like using a brush to get in here because I don't want my fingerprints to get on my face. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with my lashes. I am using the Salon Perfect in 614s. These are what they look like. This is like a little lash applicator that I got off of eBay. And I think it was like $1, maybe $2. No, I'm pretty sure it was $1. And these lashes are hurt. I need new ones. I'm sorry if you can't see. Remember, if you're gonna apply lashes on, make sure you prep your lashes first. I use an eyelash curler. This is, this is a Revlon one. I got this a long time ago. It works fine. And where's my mascara? And then I used the Maybelline the Colossal Big Shot. And I like using these things because I can clamp my lashes to the fake lashes also, just so it looks like it's one. And the lash glue that I used is the House of Lashes, and this one's in the black one. They have a clear one also. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work on my inner tear duct. What I like doing is whatever highlighter I'm using on my face, that's a highlighter I like popping into my inner tear ducts. So I'm gonna go in with my Anastasia Glow Kit, and I'm gonna use, what am I gonna use? I'm gonna use Gumdrop. So I'm gonna apply that into my inner tear ducts, and I'm just gonna use whatever clean brush I have. The E18, this is not meant for this, but it's a brush. I'm gonna apply a little bit. And that area that I didn't put any of the eyeshadows, I'm bringing that down also. This is what it looks like. And I'm just using a gumdrop. I'm not mixing in anything else. Okay, so working on, normally I don't really use a lot of blush. I usually just stick to bronzer. Just want to make sure that it's blended a little bit more. Just bring it a little higher, and then we'll go in and we'll start highlighting. I'm going to use my Real Techniques brush. I don't know which one this is, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of gumdrop. If you want to wet your brush for more intense highlight, then go for it. I don't really feel like I need to. So this one's more of a pinky highlight. And when I do like pinker highlights lately, but I do also like mixing it in with a golder highlight too. I'm just going in back and forth with my contour brush, just to make sure it doesn't get too messy. And then let's go in with some Marshmallow. And I'm just bringing this on the highest points. So I'm only overlapping the pinker highlight just in the back. And I just mixed the gumdrop and the Marshmallow. Then going back in with the same brush I used for my inner tear duct, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of Marshmallow just to highlight my nose. Oh, okay. I guess there's a little, there's some gumdrop on it too. You know what? I do want to go in with dampening my highlight. Yep, looks so much more intense. You know what? I'm going to dampen this one also for the inner tear ducts. I also dabbed a little bit of Marshmallow. I'm usually everywhere whenever I do my makeup. I just make last minute changes. So I'm sorry if it was kind of everywhere. And then I'm going to go ahead with a powder brush and I'm just going to blend everything together. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with some mascara. I like using the Max Extended Play Lash for the lower lash line. Well, the bottom lashes. Okay, and I think the last thing we're going to do is work on the lips. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with lips. I have a couple of new Morphe lip products. I got their, what is this? It's the cream lip polish in the shade Blush. So it looks like a really nice pinky nude. I also got their lip liner in Backseat Love. I haven't pulled this out yet. Oh, it's like a peachy pinky nude, if you can see. And I have, okay, you know what, let's try this. We'll go with Backseat Love. They smell like crayons, but it goes on really creamy. I think this is a little too pink. Okay, we're not gonna do this. I don't hate the lip liner. It's just not, it's not what I'm looking for. So let's take this off. Okay, I'm gonna go in with Strip Down. And let's try some Honey Love. And then I'll add a little bit of gloss. I'm going to go in with NYX's Madeline. Okay, and I added just a small amount of that same glitter, just right inside here, just to open it up. And once everything is all set, just go ahead and set your face. Try to avoid your eyes. So this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and please comment below and let me know what you want to see in my next videos. I'll see you then.